Well,
Good
well.
morning.
Hello, yeah. So, so
gotta
we are
stop.
here. We are caffeinated.
Yes.
I am so. How has your week been?
My week has been very busy and in a good way. You know, we're launching this podcast. I mean, now it's out. When you hear this, it's going to be out. But, you know, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that
Oh my
goes into
goodness!
all
The
this.
press, the
So
press release, and the interviews, and the this, and it's been insane. It's been fun.
It's so fun, and it's stuff that I love to do. I love doing design. I love doing websites, all of that. But, you know, it's crunch time. It's like the same kind of like energy that I felt like before we opened the restaurant. Like you're like, it's almost like making, you know, throwing a party and just hoping everybody comes. And it's just, but it's a great feeling. So I've been up to that. And then, you know, simultaneously kind of like trying to dabble in the dating world again.
Oh, you're getting back into the dating world. Is it as much of a shit show as I think it is?
Yes, it is exactly, if not worse. It's like sifting through, I wouldn't even say like a haystack. It's like the Sahara Desert to try to find
Just dry.
one tiny little diamond. So
Are you doing it online as well?
Yeah.
Oh my
I
goodness!
said I would
and
never
you
go
told
back.
Me, you told me every guy has a fish picture.
Oh my God, the fish pictures. That's actually now a thing. Like if unless they're like really catch my eye in other ways. If you have a fish picture, like I'm swiping left. It's not.
Why
it's not
do they
happening.
do that?
I don't know. I think it's some sort of like I don't know.
I'm a man. I can. Catch
I'm a man.
fish.
Yeah, like an evolutionary thing. Like if the world were to end, I could go to the ocean and get you a fish. Like I don't really know. Like why?
I don't know. That is kind of sexy though.
You know, I would rather somebody be holding up like, you know, a plate of sushi to show me that they could do that. Like I don't need the dead fish. Especially we're not in an emergency yet. So I don't know. It's a very fun but confusing situation. I said I would never go back to the apps, but there's really no other way right now.
That's
to, like,
awesome.
Do that, especially with our schedule. We're so busy.
He's so busy, and actually, this week I went and met with Dr. Jen Armstrong from the Real Housewives of Orange County, and she confirmed that she's going to do our podcast, and then we're going to do a little bit of. I'm going to go in and get a couple of like laser treatments or whatever, and we're going to film it through Four Corners Productions, and then do some cross promotion, which is going to be really fun. Also, we confirmed my my dear friend David Goldie Goldsmith. We call him Goldie, but his name is David Goldsmith, yeah. And he is the biological son of the most interesting man in the world.
Which is like already super interesting. You're just like by default a super interesting person.
But he's been in the business forever. I remember one time I was in his office and I was talking about how much I loved the movie Dick Tracy. And he said, "Oh, I know Warren." And I was like, Warren, but yes, you don't know Warren Beatty. And he said, "Hold on." He took out the phone, pressed it on speaker, and called Warren Beatty in front of me. And he goes, "Hey, Goldie, what's up?" And he said, "Warren, could you please tell my friend Todd that I know you and that you are alive and well? Because we know you're older than dirt or something." He made a joke, and he was busting his balls. And then Warren was like, "Hi, Todd, it's good to meet you. Yeah, I'm real." I was like, "You're Dick Tracy," and I literally said, "Oh my God, you're Dick Tracy."
Oh my, oh my gosh! All I can think about is what if that was some kind of like paid person that he just has that he can like.
No, it was definitely Warren Beatty. I'll tell you, I was, but yeah, we're gonna have him on. We're gonna have David Goldsmith on the program.
I can't wait
to look out for that
him.
episode. Yeah, and then but today's guests are. I'm so excited about this interview.
I can't wait for everybody to hear this because we got to talk to Huneyfire, which we'll do their bio, but a mother-daughter situation. They're just so they're up and coming. Like we just know, and they know that they're going to be big. And they're already breaking through on the scene. And I just felt like the conversation was so optimistic and positive, a little bit of a palate cleanser from some of the deeper things that we talk about all the time.
Exactly.
Not that they don't get deep, but
no, it was very motivational and fun.
Yes.
But if I'm going to read their bio, it is Huneyfire is an influential mother-daughter country rock pop soul duo based in Las Vegas, Nevada, originally from California, and they started performing together in 2010. You can now stream their single "Temporary" and the duo's new release "Breaking Necks" on all the streaming platforms. They are currently in the studio in Nashville and Vegas recording their very first studio EP to be released later this summer. I really, really, really dig these two wonderful ladies, Chaeza and Marrie. I think they're gonna make a huge splash. Don't you think?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think they already kind of have, but
I mean, they're an Afro-Latina country duo. I mean, it's just, you know, it's just like, it's so, and their sound together is so unique. And,
yes,
and I don't know. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan.
I love the dynamic. They're so good. Like I said, I want to get, Isabel and I are going to get together and we're going to do something that won't be nearly as impressive as these ladies. So they are just, they're on fire. They're on Huneyfire.
They're literally on Huneyfire. So without further ado.
Huneyfire.
Huneyfire. Good morning, Laura.
Good morning, Todd.
Oh my gosh. Let's welcome to the program Huneyfire.
Hey. Hi, guys.
Also known as, you can say your respective names so we don't just keep referring to you collectively that way.
I'm Mom.
Okay, that's good. We'll Mom. And
I'm Marrie, yeah. Daughter.
Chaeza, yes.
Marrie and Chaeza.
Yes. Hello. My goodness.
Mother-daughter singing duo, killing it, killing the game. Very excited to have you on the program.
Totally.
We are excited to be here. Excited to be here with you guys.
We've definitely been following all of your exciting, I guess, escapades of going to the Grammys and all of that. I've been living vicariously through you guys. Just
Oh
so
my
pumped for
gosh.
y'all. It's like the best.
I mean,
Yes.
y'all belong on a red carpet. That's just the way it is.
Well, thank you.
You know,
We're hoping to stay there.
what's funny about that night is like she went to the ceremony because I had homework and an exam to do. So I met up with her at the party.
That's my girl. That's my girl.
Well, good for
I'm
you for
obsessed with
staying on
that.
top of your schoolwork because I would have just
Yep.
been like, I'm sorry, my stuff's going to be a little late. I am going to the
You know,
Grammys.
It's so funny because she's so used to this stuff. The first Grammy trip for her was in my belly.
Oh, yes. So
Yeah,
she's
I
heard
was
it
on the
from
red
womb.
carpet.
Yes.
Yeah, so she's like, Mom, just go walk the carpet at the Grammys. I'm like, oh, yeah, forget. She's used to this. I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, I got to take my exam.
That's
Like,
amazing.
Usher
So it
is
was
here. I was
kinda
like, oh
cute.
yeah, he's cool.
Oh, yeah. Like, he's so 2000 and late. It's fine.
Well, Chaeza, let's go ahead and start with you. When
Okay.
did you know that you wanted to be in the entertainment business?
For me, it was pretty early. My mom was a singer. She still is. She was with the Ikeettes, with Ike and Tina Turner. So I grew up watching it. My grandmother, in some of her respects,
Hold on, we just need to pause there. Wait, your mother, explain for the audience, your mother was
Yes.
an Ikeette with the Ike and Tina Turner review?
Yes, she was. You can actually find her on a lot of the reviews on Ed Sullivan on YouTube. So pull up
Write
Ed
that
Sullivan.
down.
Yes, she's on the Ed Sullivan show. She's the one in the middle. And
Is
I
she
can also
also
send you guys a
featured
clip.
in 60 Feet from Stardom?
Yes. Yes.
I thought so. Okay.
Yes, she's in 60 feet, 50 feet from Stardom.
Something like
And
that.
yeah, something like that.
I
One of those
mean,
feet.
A pretty small amount of feet away.
Yeah.
But just round it down.
Yeah,
did-
she was featured in that.
So
yeah.
did she inspire you to kind of move and follow in her footsteps?
My mother was everything of why I am where I am right now. Literally, I can watch myself back in performances and I look and sound like my mom. Like my mom is Chaeza, man. I'm telling you. I watched her since a little girl perform with different artists and write songs. And the first time that I stepped up on stage with her was when I was 9 years old. I remember I was in a gold petticoat and a cute little blazer leather jacket. And she was rapping because my mom's a rapper too, okay?
Oh, man.
And
It's on my TikTok too.
It's on
Oh
her
my gosh.
TikTok.
Okay.
What's
TikTok.
your
I've
TikTok?
got a lot to
Yeah.
write down here. Okay, let's go. Okay.
Yes.
TikTok.
So, I first stepped on stage with her at 9, and it's been just an amazing journey ever since. My mom's everything. She's my huge inspiration on why I'm doing what I'm doing. She taught me what I know, and gosh, I'm able to hand that down, and that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. And where did you grow up?
I grew up in California. I was born in San Diego. Yes, in the beautiful, beautiful San Diego.
Representing. I love
You
that.
represent.
I lived there for
Yeah.
3 years.
Yep.
I wish I could take the weather with me everywhere.
Yes. My mom and my father met on the military base. My mom was in a band. And my dad was the military boy lying about his age, okay? Oh. And so my dad was younger than my mom, and he's like, yeah, my dad's pretty hot. Okay, my dad is pretty hot. He's a cutie when he was younger.
I'm going to ask the question that I think a lot of listeners would want to know. Did your mom notice anything that was going on with Ike and Tina at the time?
You know, my mom is very shut mouth about it, believe it or not. She says, yes, I knew there were things happening, but we were always supportive. She really doesn't go beyond that. She was friends with Ike all the way until he passed away.
Wow. So it's almost like out of respect for their marriage, and it's been so blown up in the public that she just doesn't want to go into it. Well,
she never really goes into it. Yeah, she never really goes into it. We know very brief stories, but I've never heard, I know that she knows things, but she's never elaborated on stuff like that. Never in my whole entire life. So I've never really made it a big thing to even talk about it because she's never said anything.
Well, she's like professional, you know. I think it's like, you know, that's not my business, and so it shouldn't be anybody else's. Even if it is already out there, it's like I'm not going to give into that, you know. I like that.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
So your dad was really hot. You just said your dad was hot. What was
My dad was a little hottie, but it's like, it's kind of bittersweet to say because I am a replica of my father.
Like, oh, really? Really?
I am. Yes,
you don't look like your mom.
Zero things. My sister does. Zero things.
Okay.
Zero. I look nothing like my mom. I walk like my dad. Look like my dad. My feet are like my dad. My back. Everything is like my dad. But my voice is my mom.
Her mannerisms are her mom.
Your dad.
My mannerisms. I'm my mother.
Oh.
Everything. Yeah, my mannerisms, the tone of my voice is my mom. Yeah, I can hear my mom in me for sure, musically.
That's awesome.
I know. Right?
So, Maddie,
so funny.
what was it like growing up in a musical family? Obviously, y'all are very close.
Yeah, it was.
So that's, you know.
To give you kind of just like a look into how I took the entertainment world I was so used to it. Like, it was literally, like she said, when before I was even born, I was on the red carpets of the Grammys and the AMAs and stuff. So, a regular night for me, because I'm my mom's only kid, if I was bored, I'd ask her if I can come to work with her, and I'd sit backstage and, you know, meet Coco, or meet Holly Madison, or meet whoever was in the show with my mom, and then I'd go, you know, say my highs, go to my mom's dressing room, fall asleep for the rest of the night, and get up, do a red carpet with her because she had to, and she brought me with her, so I'm like, okay, let's go. And it was just normal for me. It was always exciting. It was like the best way I tell like my friends is it's kind of like having parents as doctors, but it's a little more glamorous.
No,
it's a little more glamorous.
Aww.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, I can tell you a funny story about this. When she was little, I'll never forget this. I don't even know if she remembers this, but she calls me.
Oh,
she was
yes.
About.
I think I was 13.
This is great. This is. No. This was when you were like 4 or 5.
Okay.
Oh my goodness! How did you have a phone?
This her dad.
Okay.
So she calls me and she says, "Mommy," I said, "Baby, where are you?" Because they've been gone for a while. Hi, what are you doing? And oh, I don't know, Mommy. I'm at this guy's house. Well, what guy? Well, with Daddy and the group and da. And I said, well, what do they look like? I don't know, Mommy. He's playing the piano and he's blind.
Oh my God.
Oh my! Are we talking about Ray Charles?
Stevie Wonder.
Oh, Stevie Wonder. Ray Charles would be dead.
It's okay.
I said, well, he's dead.
Get out of that house. He's not alive.
Get out. He ain't real. Run.
But Stevie Wonder, that is nuts.
Yep.
I said, go get the toilet paper. Get a spoon, get a fork, get a knife, anything you can get. She goes, Mommy, I got to go. I'm playing. And I was like, this girl, she don't even know whose house she's at.
Nope.
That is so amazing.
And you know what's funny?
He's blind. He can't see, Mommy.
Well, you said
I almost died.
You said she was with her dad at the time?
Her dad, well, she was with the whole band. They were because they're good friends with him.
Well, my
So
godfather's niece and nephew, Stevie Wonder, I found out later on when I was like 12 and 13.
Mm-hmm.
He is their godfather. So that's how He's
Yeah.
intermixed.
Oh, I see.
So she says, "Oh, I'm just at the blind guy's house. He's playing the piano and they're singing." I was like, "Who's there? Who's there? Who else?
Who else is there?
You know?" I was like, "Who's there? Don't you want mommy there to watch you?"
Am I invited? Don't worry, I'm on my way. Well,
So that's kind of her life.
Yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, I think that's like a really good thing to kind of, for our listeners who aren't aware, your dad was in the band
All for One.
All for One.
Yeah.
And which member was he?
The one that looks just like me.
Okay. All right. Well, now I know who it is. Okay. That's perfect.
His name's Alfred.
100%.
His name's Alfred.
Okay. Okay. And
And
how
she
did you-
definitely isn't lying. They look just alike.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of gene stuff going on in your family
yeah.
where it seems to be like
The
little
father.
copies are made, but
Yeah.
you know, not.
Yeah.
So how was it like watching, your dad perform, and how did that kind of affect your perspective on like music and performance?
Well, I would say it came both from my mom and my dad. Watching Daddy perform, it was kind of like, I'm very proud when I watch Daddy on the stage, because he's very much so, we're very alike in our personalities. So when I see Daddy like kind of come out of his shell, I'm like, yeah, go Daddy, do your 1-2 step and your snap and your hand gesture, yeah. But when I watch Mommy, it's like, okay, all right, I can do this, right? I can do this. I can do this. But, it's also become, like I said, very normal for me. So honestly, it's very humbling when I actually bring a friend with me, because it's not normal for them. And I genuinely like bringing people that can remind me that this is, let's say, like a delicacy in my life. And I got to remember that. Like, this is not a normal thing. And it keeps me humbled and very proud of the fact that, not to get super religious, but like the Lord picked me to be in this path.
Girl, get religious. Amen.
Hallelujah.
So,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
that's
Well.
what it is for me, is when I watch them, I'm proud, like watching them, they could be in finances. I'm like, good, you got a promotion. It's like, for me, it's as easy as that. But when I bring somebody else in the mix and I see how astonished they are meeting Wayne Brady and meeting Usher or something, like, I'm used to them, but bringing
Can I come
them
hang out with you?
Yeah.
I also want to humble you as a person.
You're more than welcome.
She wants
This is for
she
your
wants to tag
benefit,
along.
really.
Come on. You're more than welcome.
Chaeza, when did you feel like Marrie was also musical, like that she could sing, and that did you support her getting into the business immediately, or was it gradual?
I saw it really early on, because she actually took an interest in like singing the songs that I would be learning at the time when she was little. Mm-hmm. So it was a gradual thing, but I saw it happening. She's very, very, very introverted with certain things and extroverted with things that she knows and comfortable with. But I saw that as a kid. I would see her sitting on the couch singing the song really low, and I would take notice. I was like, oh, okay. So I would have to use that situation like, hey, can you sing this part? And then take the attention away. But if the tension stayed on her, she wouldn't do it. But if I said, can you sing this, and just turn around and do what I'm doing, she'll start singing it. So I learned her way of learning, and it just became such a passion for her doing it that way. But I let her do it at her pace. She was 6 when she really started opening up. She ended up on a television show as well, that we could get into a little bit later. But I let her do it on her timing, even when she was little. She would show me, and I would gradually take that.
When she was getting into when she was doing the television show, when she was doing other things, did you, as her mom, did you feel an instinctual need to like protect her in the business? Were you like a very hands-on? I mean, because you've been in the business for a hot minute. You know how crazy it is.
Yeah, I was momager. For sure. I was, and you protect your cubs,
That's
when
your
you
baby
have them.
too. That's your one.
Absolutely.
Especially if it's
Absolutely.
The one,
Absolutely. We were pretty blessed to have the producers and the productions and the creator of that show were her godparents, were her extended family from her godparents. So they also do shows like, what is it? America.
America's Got Talent?
No.
Or-
Yes. I think, no.
It's like American Ninja Warrior. I think it's American Ninja Warrior.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they own a lot of different shows. They produce a lot of different shows. So we were able to kind of have that camaraderie, which made it a lot easier to trust.
Okay.
So,
so you had people that you did trust, like,
Yeah.
on set with her and around her.
Absolutely. But on other things, I mean, she started dancing with Radio Disney. Yeah, I was momager. I had to make sure that things were going because it wasn't my first rodeo. You know, my mom gave me that one thing to take into the business and to protect and make sure you stick by what you believe in. And yeah, I try my best to do that as well. But as a mom, yeah, your hands are on your hip and you're watching, you know.
Especially with a firstborn. I feel like
and the last. and the last.
Yeah, no, so I
the
have
first and the last.
Yeah, I have a daughter who's 6 currently, and I couldn't imagine. And I also have a son who's 2, and I
God,
I have a lot more trust in like her to take care of him, you know, like I'm not like,
Yes.
don't go near the water. She's like,
Yes.
all right, this is what we do, Logan. Okay, like we're not gonna go this way, and it's very cute to watch, but I still and sometimes I'm like, whoa, you are so grown up, it's freaking me out. But
yes, and guess she's learning from you.
Yeah, and you know that's scary in some ways. So I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody's actually watching what I'm doing all the time. But you know, I still can't imagine like just releasing her into the the universe as far as all of that. And the only way I would is if I knew exactly who was kind of in charge of what's going on. So that takes a lot of courage as a mom.
It's hard, you know. Yeah, you have 2, so I feel like it might be a little easier to release when you have 2. I don't know because I don't have 2, but with her just being the only child, that's all I knew.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, she's my friend. She's my best friend.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She knows
I
all
love
my
the Yells
secrets.
friendship because obviously, you know, I mean, that kind of leads into what we really want to talk about too is like you guys obviously had this connection, and you knew that she was musical and but what exactly like drew both of you to like kind of country music and that genre and how did you kind of decide to do things together?
Let's start from the beginning of that. So I thought that I was going to be this Demi Lovato, like this bold pop singer one day. And all the time, everybody, doesn't matter who, would tell me I sound country. And I'm like, no, I'm pop.
Really?
Yeah, all the time. And I've been listening to country since I was about 9 or 10. So like country music has been in me. It wasn't like I was, you know, I don't want country music. It was I admired Demi Lovato so much. And I was like, I'm going to be her. And I was like, okay, maybe. And then mommy said the same thing too. She's like, you sound country. Maybe you should dabble in that idea. And then mommy told me a story about when she was younger, she wanted to be a country artist too. And I had no idea. Oh,
wow.
That was just a story that, you know, she had and never thought to bring it up again because it happened so long ago. But she told me, and then she was like, you know what? I think I'm going to start doing it again. And I was like, you go, girl. You do that. So she started working on a country album. And then she was like, Marrie, we've been singing together since you're like on a stage since you're about 15 or 16. Why don't we start a group? And of course, at the time when she first told me, I was like, no, I'm gonna be a veterinarian. I'm cool. Like, I'm gonna go to school.
That's what I wanted to be when I was young.
Yeah.
The wind was let out of my sails.
Hold the phone. Hold on. You wanted to be a veterinarian? Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yep. So.
Well, I'm glad you're taking a different path. We love animals, but I'm really glad we get to benefit from your singing.
So that like happened, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago. So it was a while that she asked me that. And then, you know, I went through like a pretty hardcore breakup. And, you know, when that happens, you're willing to do just about like, you're willing to move to Europe in order to like just take your mind off of things, right? Reset. And she asked me at the right time, hey, Marrie, would you like to do the group? And I was like, absolutely. Let's go. I'm ready. Let's do this. And she was like, really? I was like, really? She's like, we're going to have to rehearse a lot. And I was like, I know. I'm ready. I can do this. I can do it. So that's kind of how it happened. And since we both loved country music so much, and I had been dabbling even more into it, and that's kind of how it happened.
She was really the one that made my playlist longer, because I'm a huge Shania Twain fanatic. I'm a huge Judd's fanatic. I go back to Chicago.
Wow.
I don't mean to tell my age, but I'm a huge Chicago fan. I remember as a little girl watching Chicago. Yes. Watching them win American Music Awards. They walked, they're phenomenal. So that's kind of my era. She's like, Mommy, I'm going to need you to go listen to Gabby Barrett. And she started throwing these other options to me, Carrie Underwood. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is me. I can
Miranda
do this
Lambert.
again. I can. Oh, yeah. Yes, I love Miranda. So it was something for me that was very easy. I wanted something new and fresh. I knew I could always go and start a career on my own, but what better to do it with my child that's already wanting to do something like this and has a desire to do it. Let's do it together,
And we'll be right back after a few words from our sponsors.
Eternus is all about you. Eternus Life Coaching is all about partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. Eternus believes in making your dreams and goals a reality, and their coaches know just how to do that. Whether you're just starting out or looking to bolster your current transformation, they have you covered. Leveraged by the International Coaching Federation and founded by Chris Wingater, Eternus coaches develop and maintain an effective coaching plan with attainable results. Eternus offers flexible plans and rates to allow all people to benefit from this rewarding creative process. So don't hesitate. If you want to unlock your full potential, begin your journey with Eternus Coaching today. Visit www.eternuslife.com and let Eternus help you manage progress and maintain accountability in achieving your highest potential. Follow them on Instagram and Twitter at EternusLife.
When I was younger, I was on the table to have a country record deal when I was 12.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
Just
when I was 12 or 13.
Y'all just are incredible. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Just take a moment.
No.
Nobody has those stories they just throw in there. Like, I had a record, at 12.
Oh, man. Yeah, we started working. We had about 3 or 4 songs done at the time, as I remember my mom telling me. And the gentleman that was the A&R rep and producer, he ended up passing away. And being that it was country music and I was younger and it was back a little bit more, Black artists weren't as accepted as they are right now, even though we still have this tough hill to climb with country music, which is ridiculous, improving ourselves. But I would hear as a child, but she's Black. So to hear that as a child, that scared me off. This is, and I get this question all the time. So why country music now? Well, because as a child, they scared me half to death, but now I know better.
Well, that leads me. That leads me into my next question. Because you both are Afro-Latina, you're an Afro-Latina mother-daughter country rock pop soul duo. Did y'all have any fears going into this, classically white musical genre?
I wouldn't say fear. We were very pre-warned by other people's experiences because we, at the time coming into it, we really didn't face anything. Only me at a young age, so it pretty much primed us to be ready for the opposing sides.
Got it.
So I wouldn't say fear, no. And you knowing me, Todd, there isn't much that scares me.
No.
But Jesus. Okay? But my Lord.
Gotta be God-fearing, especially if you're
I'm
country
God.
music.
I am God-fearing, honey. So I will whoop Jesus out on anybody that wants to say something
What's
to
the
me.
guy that you watch? Stephen, what's the guy?
Stephen Furtick. I will
She's
give
a
him
big
definitely
Stephen
a plug.
Furtick fan,
I
for
am.
any of you.
I definitely am. Stephen Furtick is amazing. And so I think Marty and I, we talked about this, and it really wasn't a fear. We were just really pre-warned by other stories, and my story as a young child. We were ready. Our armor is on. Bring it.
And
because we know who we are.
So both of you had 0 reservations.
No.
Yeah.
We didn't have any.
We had no reservations at all. Yeah. We already knew who we were.
what were the kind of the warnings that we were given as far as?
I'll be very, very blunt. I mean, people being called out of their name, Black artists having to defend how much they love country music. How ridiculous is that? Yeah. I mean, I know personally, I've even watched a lot of Mickey Guyton's stories, and she's become friends with us on Instagram, which I just love her. She's just such a walking beast for African American people in country music. She's very honest. She's very, here it is, and here's my story. And I love her for that. I love her. I love her for holding that door open for all of us. And she's not afraid to do it. Mm-mm. You know, she even posts on her Instagram and I believe on her Twitter as well, people, when they leave her these messages, she really posts these messages and call them out. And this is what it takes. This is what it takes. And I just love her for that. You know, she's making a way for other artists like myself and other artists who are afraid because they are of African descent or whatever, minority in this world. They're afraid to come forward and sing the music that they love. How ridiculous. So I want to be that person as well. And I know Marrie wants to be that person as well. We want to be hope for someone else that's not wanting to do it because of the color of their skin.
And like,
it's ridiculous.
Just walking in the world looking the way we do, we've had to have tough skin regardless. So this is just, for me, I'm just like, they're just this big, well, you know?
You grew up with Stevie Wonder, so there's really not a whole lot that can phase you. And so obviously y'all have had kind of, I think, a positive experience coming into this, especially with your attitude and your background. Like that's amazing. You get to be kind of an inspiration for other people that want to go into it. So we know you were both at the Grammys this year because I obsessively watched it. But like, how was that whole experience for you guys?
Mama?
It was great. Well, while she was doing homework, I was holding down the first leg of our experience. It was amazing. I have to really, really, really give thanks to my really good friend, Gustavo Alcara. He is just a light. He is just the most amazing human being. So nice, so kind. He is a member of the Grammys, which, fingers crossed, will soon be members of the Grammy Academy through, you know, how, because there's certain channels. But he invited us down as Huneyfire to come walk the carpet, to experience the whole experience. And it was something that I need as manager, as mom, as artist, is to keep that fire rolling, is to keep that fire burning. Because coming from what we just came from 2 years and being in the house and having to sit with our thoughts in quietness and silence, and, you know, it's not easy to come back. You know, you kind of don't know how to come back. So being able to be there and feel that was exactly the boost that I needed. And it was just a blessing from God. It wasn't even planned. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Let me tell you, this is how it happened. Verbatim. I said, Lord, we need to be at the Grammys. I know we do. I got a phone call the next morning.
Stop.
Not kidding. I want you and Huneyfire to come as Huneyfire. And I said, God is good and he works fast. Wow. That's it.
But Chaeza, you are a powerful manifester, knowing you. You manifest
Praise
things.
God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
How would one take a Chaeza workshop on how to manifest things? Like, can I just need like a weekend with you guys?
Here's how it is. You don't take no. My mom never takes no. That's it.
I love that.
Cut dry.
I'm already on the right track there. That I don't take no well. So, you know,
you got it then.
Awesome. I mean, you guys are just like, you know, obviously you're so like a powerful force in and of yourselves. You obviously have this, you know, this is in your blood.
Thank you.
Does a part of you kind of ever, like, how do you face any issues when it comes to being in the music genre that you're in country music, and kind of facing the history of that, and what was kind of, you know, everybody's singing about the Confederate flag and you know, just the kind of us being from the South, it's pretty much, you know, all in our faces. How do y'all kind of feel about that?
I can sum that up. And I know Marrie has probably something to say on that too. For me, it's about staying true to who I am as an artist. I'm a lot of things as an artist, and I don't want to minimize any of those things because those are my gifts that God has given me. So I want to utilize them all because people watching us as Huneyfire are going to take a little bit. Everyone's going to, I hope, take a little bit from different things that we sing. I've sang country music. I've sang rock and roll. I've sang R&B. I've sang a little bit of everything. And that's who I am. And that's what music is. Music is not just one thing. When you see Kid Rock and Run DMC doing a mashup, no one says anything. So guess what? You're going to have to hush when you hear Huneyfire coming along doing country rock. I mean, it's just people are getting used to different being the normal now. Mm-hmm. And it's only different because that's the way they've made it. It shouldn't, to me, music is music. Mm-hmm. This is music that we're singing. And so, you know, coming into a genre that's now just opening the door to Black artists. Yes, Charlie Pride, but that is only one or two or three. You know, in pop music, you've got thousands. Mm-hmm. That's the way country music should be too. I'm sure there's many artists out there that have not even been heard that are amazing Black country artists.
So you feel that the country music fans are ready for this change? You think, or moving towards the same?
I think the change has already happened.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's definitely happened. It's not getting ready. It has happened. I can name 10, just power them off the top of my head, and I'm sure someone that's more experienced than me can name 50. So, you know, you've got Willie Jones, Mickey Guyton, Sasha, Tierra, Huneyfire. I mean, the list goes on and on now. So it's happened. We are here.
Darius Rucker. I mean, the fact that, I mean, just because we're from Charleston,
Rucker, yes.
That's like, you know,
absolutely.
from him to go from Hootie to then like him to be like, I'm going to do a country album. And everybody's like, this is okay. Yeah. And it was
and this is what he loves.
And Nelly.
Yeah. Yes. Right? Is
it Nelly too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Guess who else? Guess who else is about to do one? Monica.
Really?
She was just at the CMTs. Mm-hmm. She was at the CMTs. So no one, you know, I found that no one really says anything when it's a celebrity doing it, when they're switching over drastically. Mm-hmm. But when it's someone else coming in that's new, then it's this big thing. So
interesting.
It's just
that is an interesting.
That's an interesting point that you just made. I've never thought about that, but you're right.
Oh, it's 100%. Yeah. I mean, Nelly. I love Nelly. But no one would have ever thought that. So accept the new artist just as much as you accept the celebrity, you know, and it's not the celebrity's fault. It's just what people, this is what they see. It's like when they see you on stage, it's more accepting of, oh my God, I want to meet her. But if I was just a person walking by, they could care less. Mm-hmm.
So,
you know,
how do y'all feel, you know, speaking of being on stage, do you feel that going back to gigging and playing concert halls and theaters and, you know, do you feel like performing has normalized yet in the wake of COVID?
50-50 for me. Because it's coming back for artists. It has come back 50%. And I say 50 because yes, we're back on stage. But no, in the matter of being just speaking for cruise ships, we have to still test negative to get on a cruise ship. Even though the guests don't wear their masks, we're not normalized yet for us. You know, we if we get COVID, we can't perform. We have to stay quarantined. So it's a really weird thing. There's no mask requirement for us here in Nevada, but I have to keep my mask on so I don't get COVID so I can go perform. So it's really weird. It's kind of like a little yo-yo for me. You know, it's like, It doesn't feel normal yet for me.
And we want to believe
really
it's so bad that it's over.
It's not. It's so far from over. It feels like, because when it's over is when I have COVID and I can get on that ship.
Oh, like
I know it's harsh. I know it's harsh, but That is the fact, because people are getting COVID on the ship.
A lot of people don't know this listening. Chaeza is actually a Whitney Houston tribute artist, and she gigs all the time on cruise ship symphonies around the world. And she actually starred in The Bodyguard at North Shore Music Theater as Rachel Marin, and killed it. Go check out those reviews. I'm so sad I didn't get to see you perform that live. But yeah, cruise ships, as a cruise ship entertainer myself, it has been a giant clusterfuck, because it's just been a nightmare, because you have to test. I mean, I test every other day on a ship. Every other day.
Which is crazy, because you think about it, it's like nobody really knew what to do in the beginning. There's those rules, the guidelines that came out in the beginning. Then they're like, okay, well, now we know more, so we're going to change it up. And then they, the waves and the whatnots, and then people are dropping mask mandates here and there. And then now it's to a point where, like, I don't think anybody knows. People just have these like kind of irrelevant policies.
Oh God, the irrelevant policies. Like when I remember in the beginning when we would get on the airplane, that would make people stand 6 feet apart to get on the airplane, and then we go sit next to each other.
I know, what is that? Well, no, COVID. We've talked about this, Todd. Yeah. COVID goes. So I own a restaurant, you guys, just so you are aware of that. I unfortunately have never been able to sing on a cruise ship. But and nobody wants me to. But the craziest thing for me in the restaurant was that the guidelines were essentially you had to wear a mask until you sit down, because COVID just goes right over your head. I mean, everybody knows that. That's just the rule.
Yeah, common knowledge.
It can't get you there.
It can't get you there. Yep. So that's what we're dealing with. That's why it doesn't feel normal even more for myself, and I think all artists, because even though the mask mandate is gone for everyone, we still can't walk on that ship with it like we can a cold or a flu. So it's not normal. It's not normal for me. I mean, yes, I'm so blessed to be back performing. Don't get me wrong. But we're still very
you're doing
cautious.
A lot. You're traveling a lot. You're getting on the ship. You're getting off the ship. You're going back to Nashville. Y'all are re-recording songs. I mean, y'all are so busy, and you're having to go. Yes. You're having to travel all the time. So I can imagine that it's really, really something that you face every single day.
Yes, it is something. And taking Marrie with me as well, it's not only I have to be extremely careful when I come off from traveling so much, because she's more home than I am. But when we travel together, then I'm watching out for the both of us. It just doesn't feel quite normal yet. But I am very blessed with how much I get to do in the midst of the chaos. We truly are.
I actually did kind of have a question for both of you guys. Did you feel like during COVID that it had, what kind of impacts did it have on your career at that time? And how did you kind of get through that period of time? And were there any benefits to it?
Well, everything was affected during COVID. I mean, for Mommy, cruise ships were shut down. Like, they were shut down. So we had to get creative, especially for her. And we had to do freelance and like do what we had to do. And there was nothing we could do.
Marrie, did you surrender? Did you just surrender to like, we're going to be home now. This is it.
Yep. I just said, Lord, if this is how it's going to happen, take me now. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, you got to say that pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Every day. No,
Lord. She's my child.
You get the wrong Starbucks order. Lord.
This is how I go.
Lord. If this is how it's going to go, take me now.
Take me now. For me personally, during it, like, in light of the horrendous stuff that everybody had to go through, I took it as a time to really bond back with my family. Like, me and Mommy, all of a sudden we created this messenger group with all of my cousins, like all the girls, and there's like 10 of us, including my aunt and my cousins, and we called each other every single day. Asking each other, what are you making? Ooh, what's that? And then I went to my dad's for 2 weeks. I haven't done that since high school.
So what was a positive that came out of the situation? Yeah.
So, like,
absolutely
couldn't do anything, how to make the best out of everything, and actually bonded with my family.
That's great.
Did y'all make like some, like, did some music come out of that?
Writing did.
I wrote, yeah, writing, yeah. We wrote quite a bit. And actually the simmering of Huneyfire came out of that. You know, that thought was definitely there for like that last year and a half of our whole struggle. And the seed was planted. And, you know, things happen for a reason. I truly believe this. I do believe strongly in manifestation, and what you think becomes your life. What you speak becomes your life. So when that seed was planted in COVID, I just looked at that and said, wow, being able to bond and then getting this group out of bonding, I couldn't be any more grateful, you know? So yeah, in the midst of the storm, I always like to refer to this. My grandmother kind of gave me this, and she said, just stand in the middle of the storm, stand in the middle of the tornado. That's the quietest place. Even though the chaos is going on around you, if you stand in the middle of the storm, the eye of the storm, you'll be able to think more clearly. So allow it to just be around you. So yeah, we wrote a lot. And that's where we gained our positivity, a lot of just optimism. So yeah, I mean, it was a negative situation, but we tried our best to make it positive, and a lot of Huneyfire came from it. So, you know.
And now a few words from our sponsors. Next page is sponsored by my restaurant, Bay Street Beer Garden. We're located in what was once an old train depot in downtown Charleston, South Carolina. Pretty cool, huh? Our bar and restaurant has beautiful high ceilings, communal tables, and German-influenced high-end bar fare, so it's as close as you can get to an authentic beer hall in the South. At our Bavarian-inspired and Southern-made restaurant, we're all about community, festivities, and uniting the old with the new. So go check out our website for updates on all the things, including live music, brunch parties, vendor markets, and all of our other upcoming events. We can't wait to see y'all! Next page is sponsored by Patrick Properties Hospitality Group. It's no secret that Charleston is one of the top wedding destinations in the world, and I'm thrilled to say Patrick Properties is the premier wedding and event company in the area. Since 1997, PPHG has unveiled 5 of Charleston's grandest properties and estates, faithfully restored and transformed into exquisite venues for special events. At Patrick Properties, we believe that moments matter, and our experienced team is committed to making each one extraordinary, with unrivaled service and professional expertise. So if you're looking for a classy venue for your next big event, check out Patrick Properties Hospitality Group on their website or social media.
I mean, Chaeza, you knowing you, I think you've done some motivational speaking, but you are definitely an optimist at heart, and I think you always see the light at the end of the tunnel. What can why you don't look at it as why is this happening to me? You look at it as why is this happening for me?
Yeah, I try my best. You know, that's another thing that I've always tried my hardest to give Maddie, and she knows me. I'm her biggest cheerleader, and you know, when things go wrong, that's only another opportunity for them to go right. This is how I see them. This is how I see it, because when it goes wrong, you know what you did and why it went wrong. So now we can do it differently. So yeah, I try my best. You know, I did actually, I was able to kind of dabble in my passion as well. I've always wanted to motivational speak. I did a few conferences as favors for some other people, just telling my story, nothing big, just telling my story and where I, what I've done to get where I am. So it gave me a time to bond with myself. I just didn't really know what that felt like because I was so busy getting my bag ready and preparing my songs and getting my charts and checking on my daughter. And, I never really had the moment to bond with myself in such a long time. And like my daughter said, like bonding with my family. I never see my family.
Because you're traveling.
We talk
all
on
the
FaceTime.
time.
Yes, I'm always. I have grandkids. Well, my brother had kids. They call me mommy, but they're my nieces. They've called me mommy since they were little babies. So they're like my grandkids, but they're, I haven't seen them in so long, and I had the chance to just see them. And even though it's FaceTime, I have that moment to sit still. We all did. So it's given me a lot of the path that I'm walking now. Wonderful. And I'm happy about.
Maddie, do you feel like you got, I know, because we talked about kind of what you gotten from looks as opposed to mannerisms and everything. Do you feel like you have that same kind of internal sense of optimism, or do you feel like it was kind of more learned?
I have those spurts of like, yeah, I can do this. You know, I can do
Spurts
this.
of optimism.
I have spurts of it. No, because okay, let me just preface that. Okay, I'm still in my oh my gosh, I'm almost in my early 20s. I'm in my late 20s. But back to like when all this was going on, I was in my early 20s, and it's rough, dude. Like everybody says like, you know, make sure you know how to do your taxes, make sure you know how to do your resume. No one prepares you for what your early 20s does to you, okay? So I'm like, it is very hard to stay optimistic during that time because you're not exactly a kid. You're not exactly an adult. You have no idea what you're doing. So you're like, yeah, I've got this, Twitch bitch. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, literally. Literally. So I got that. I would say I got my strong personality from my mother. Yeah.
Well, let's go. Chaeza, what advice do you have for any other young women or men that want to get into the business? And what advice, and there's a second part of that question, what advice have you given Marrie over the years about getting into the industry?
Okay. Advice for young people. Take a moment to sit still. Take a moment to sit still. The main thing that young people want to do is start grabbing at things right away. And that's what I did. And that's the only way I know, because as a young artist, I was performing since I was 5, literally making money. So it was something that I had to learn. I had to have discipline. My mom had to teach me that. But when looking back, I feel like I didn't sit still long enough. That's why I went through the trials that I went through to get where I had to go. Because if I would have sat still a little bit longer, I could actually feel and take in what it is I wanted to do. Instead of jumping the gun and really just grabbing blindly. Thinking about, okay, why do I want to do that? Asking yourself the proper questions. Talking to the right people. Talking to people that you want to be more like. You know, these kinds of things. My advice would be to take time. There's no rush. There's no rush to get where you want to go. You know, do your homework. Feel what it is you want to be as an artist. Look deep inside. What is yourself really telling you you want to do? Not what your family's telling you. You know, and this may stir the pot a little bit, but it's your life. When you hit 18, your career is in your hands. You can no longer blame your parents for what you don't have. Yeah. So that's what I tried to teach my daughter. What I'm giving you, because, you know, they won't always like what you're saying as your mom and dad, but they will later come to you and go, thank God, thank you for telling me this. You know, Mommy, I see, you know, because she says, Mommy, I see a lot of me in you. And I was like, well,
finally.
Yeah.
Well,
so yeah, you know, I've tried to give her that strength to know that what's inside of her is
interesting that you say that. Tony winner Andre DeShields said, slow. And he said this in his acceptance speech at the Tonys. He said, "Slow is the fastest way to get to where you are going."
Woo!
That's great that you're giving that advice.
Because
the advice you gave to her and Marrie, was it good advice?
Yes. It's hard to do it. But it is a good reminder when I am stuck in the storm. And like she said, like my granny told her, you know, stay in the middle of the storm and watch what's going on around you. It's hard to do that sometimes, especially when you're trying to juggle your early 20s. So it is great advice. It's a good reminder.
Mm-hmm. Aw.
And yeah, thanks, I totally agree with Chaeza in that, like, I think that a lot of things that, you know, my parents, when I was growing up, was kind of like, why? Like, I know better than you. I know what, you know, like, y'all might be lawyer and a doctor and have all these fancy degrees, but like, I know myself more. But you know, the best thing that they could have done for me too was to kind of be like, look, we do know that you are your own person, so that's why we want to let you explore that. We're not gonna like spoon feed you all the rules of life. It's more of a, with my parents, it was, and it seems very similar to you guys, it's kind of like just have these core values of be intentional about what you're doing, and just try to think about it. But there was no like, well, this is what you're going to do when you turn 14, and then when you turn 15, and then you turn, you know, like there, and I think at the time I was kind of like, why won't y'all just tell me what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
And it was always going back and forth, especially with the way you say, Marty, like your early 20s. You're like, well, I kind of miss it when people were like telling me what I'm supposed to be doing right now. So, you know, that I think that rings so true for me, at least, that
Yeah.
later on, I'm so grateful that they gave me that kind of the basis. So I think that y'all are definitely like, Marty, you have a pretty good
Foundation.
Solid foundation. Yeah.
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 Thanks, guys. I try.
No, you're doing a great job so far. I mean, you're in a band together, so I think you're doing pretty good at the Grammys. So just keep making wishes about everything, and it's all going to happen. So, Marty, we understand you are a writer. So, do you? What is your process as a songwriter, and what is your favorite song that you've written to date, and why?
So I'm gonna answer that with the same answer as what my favorite song is. So my favorite song is on our EP, so it hasn't come out yet. But the way I came up with it was, it's about heartbreak, as you know, most country songs are.
Yeah, which one is this?
It hasn't come out yet. It hasn't come out. Yeah, it's on the EP album, so we're working on it. Super secret. But the way I came up with it and how
You heard it here first.
But not really.
But not really.
So the way I came up with
No,
Huh?
I was saying I gave Todd a little sneak peek of a song last night that's not really.
It is very that
No, we
song
let
is
you hear it.
sexy. That song is
Oh, yes. Oh, that one. No, not that one. So she gave you, it's a different one.
But I let him I let him hear a little bit.
So the way I came up with that one is how I come up with pretty much all of them is I was literally sitting in my car and I was so sick of thinking about this person. I'm like, dude, I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of, you know, thinking that every truck that looks like his is him, and I'm done.
Ooh.
You know, I'm done with it. And that's literally where
You're
it
not
came
ready
from.
for this song.
I have the chills.
I do too.
That's
Y'all,
I'm
manifesting this song.
and then
Gonna be a
the
banger.
sexy song that Todd is talking about, the way I came up with that one is the same kind of thing. I was driving in my car and it was literally like a sunny day and I was just feeling so rainy. Like the clouds were over me and feeling so down. Even though it was sunny and beautiful outside, I just felt like crud, you know? So that's kind of my process is I pull from right here and right now. And
So you do draw on personal experiences when you're writing.
I do. That's why I love country music in particular, is country music does draw from real feelings, whether it be, you know, a Miranda Lambert, you know, like I'm becoming my own woman type song, or it's a sad love song. Like it all pulls from right here and right now and what you're going through. And that's what I love about country music in particular. And then the writing just helps me. I'm a very emotional person, so it's just the perfect genre for me to write for.
She loves a good sappy song.
I do.
Well, and there's story songs, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's storytelling.
It is storytelling.
Yep.
That was something, it took me a little while. I didn't really get into country music until I was in college, but I was around it all the time. And when I was younger, it was kind of like one of those things of, well, it just sounds like they're all kind of saying the same thing. They're all, you know, getting their boots and getting into a truck and whatever. But then when you actually, you know, my parents introduced me to, you know, a lot of, I'd say kind of more of the fringe country that you know, that the powerful women singers and stuff like that, where you're like, this is not just a story about a truck. It's like a story about how the heartbreak, you feel it with the music. It's one of the most, like, I think the most emotional kind of music you can listen to. So you know, I kind of want to know, so does that apply to breaking necks?
That song, you guys, Breaking Necks, I'm breaking necks. It is so catchy and fun and intense.
Thank
I just
you
love
so
that song.
much.
Yeah. Speak
Thank
on
you.
it.
That was I will. Breaking Necks is a little bit different that was definitely our rock intro to country music. A very edgy intro to country music, which is a huge background for us. But Breaking Necks was a gift to us, believe it or not. We didn't write Breaking Necks. A gentleman named Jason Pinnock. He has worked with everybody and their mama. This man is amazing. His Instagram is Finish Your Songs, I believe. And he said, I think I have a song that fits Huneyfire. He sent it to us. We heard it. We were like, oh my God, I love it.
Immediate.
And that's how it happened.
Immediate for both of you?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. He sent us, I think he sent us like 15, 20 songs to listen to. And that one was sent, and we were like, okay, this is hot.
Yeah.
This is it. And we would like to change this here and change that there and put this here. And that's how it happened. And it was just an instant connection with the song. We didn't have to touch it. We loved the lyrics. We loved everything. We went in the studio, recorded it, and boom, there's Breaking X, our second album release. So single release.
That's amazing. So do you guys feel like you have like almost an identical taste in music? Like, do you feel the same things when you listen to it?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Did that shock you?
Me, yes, actually.
I know, right? Yeah.
It did. Because the reason...
I think it would be more shocking, for her than me.
The reason why is because, like, I listen to a lot of sappy songs, but when I think about what I want to sing, I can see how I was influenced by my mom and her music when I was growing up. I'm like, wait, but I like to sing more edgy stuff, like I grew up on Paramore, but like she showed me like Kelly Clarkson when she first started, and Evanescence and more edgier stuff. And so when I come to like singing things, I like what my mom's music is. But when it comes to me listening,
so I was shocked.
I
was shocked when she's like, Mommy, I want to do country rock and roll. And I was like, oh my God, me too. So it actually, we did shock each other with that. Yeah. Now that you ask, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chaeza, I'm going to take a little bit of a turn here for a second. In this business, it's insane. I know personally, traveling all the time, it makes it very hard on having a personal relationship. How hard is it, or easy, is it to have a relationship when you're in show business? And do you think that show business is a selfish business?
I think that everything is prioritizing. I think things are hard when you make them hard. This is what I truly believe. I'll stand behind that, because when you love someone or something, it never is a problem. No matter what comes up. For me, if I am in love with someone or something, I'm always going to make that work. No matter what I'm faced. So being in this business, I just say the right person is going to get it. The wrong person will never get it. And that's what I wait for. That's what I'm ready for. I'm ready for the right person to get it.
Right.
And they will.
Yeah. In all aspects, whatever you see as being beautiful, you can have that. So I do believe that things that are right feel good. Mm-hmm. Right. So with this business, I think it all is in perspective with me, just kind of keeping it, prioritizing things that are important. And that's how it happens for me.
So
how about
you don't,
Maddie?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Laura.
I was just going to ask Maddie how she feels about that. If like that she has the same experience.
Love and business. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had the same experience. Actually, just recently I had it full, like, right in my face, where a person had a problem with what I was trying to accomplish. And they didn't understand it fully until, like, I told him, hey, I have to do this. Is this going to be a problem for you? And he was like, yeah, I think it is. And I'm like, well, I don't really know what to tell you. And the point where you say, do you think...
Yes, Monty. Yes. I don't really know what to tell you.
And that's where I come in.
But I love your question of, do you think it's a selfish business? I have so much to say about that part.
I was going to say, I saw your response. Like, I saw your looks when you asked
Yeah.
that. So I want to hear what your answer.
The reason why, like, that kind of cut deep is because people really do view it as a selfish thing. Like, it takes a very, very certain type of personality to understand if you have to kiss somebody in a music video, it's a kiss. And it's hard for most people to wrap their head around. And people can think that that's very selfish. Only because in the male brain, like, you know, if you're dating a male, that is so much more deeper than, you know, just a kiss. So to some people, it's selfish. But to me, it's no different than me marrying a doctor and they have to be in the OR for 15 hours. And that's my sacrifice. Your sacrifice is you can live at home and raise my horses and I have to just, like, be gone for a few days. It's no different to me. So people can think it's selfish, yeah. But it takes, just like Mommy said, if you love something, no matter what, anything's going to work out.
I definitely like what you both are alluding to and what you basically said, Chaeza, about prioritizing. It's all about prioritizing.
100%. You know, I look at it like this because I go back to being married to her father. He was in the business. He toured months on end. And for me, I got it. He had a woman that got it. I got it because I was an entertainer as well. So when it came to us being that kind of person for one another, we didn't have that problem because that's the business that I wanted to be in and that's what I was in. And so I was that person, you know, and I understood that the touring took you time away. And so he flew me out on a lot of things. So when you have the right person, it's never an issue. That's the beautiful thing about manifesting the life you want. Yeah. There really is no negative anything unless you put the negativity there in your mind. If you've already fed yourself with that energy, you're going to be that energy.
Yeah.
You're going to be that energy.
It's selfish to not be supportive. That's what's selfish.
Ooh. Mic drop.
Oh, that right there. Mm-hmm. What we do, Todd? That right there. That right there. That.
That part, homie. That part.
You get a double point on that.
You get a boom. Yeah, it's very true. You have to have a supportive partner. You just can't. And you know what, guys? There's nothing to be upset about if your partner doesn't support you. That's just not your partner. You know, that's just not your partner. Smile, shake hands, and send them with $1 in a suitcase out the door. That's it. I mean,
$1.
What's the dollar for? I want to know.
See,
no, that why did you say that? Why?
Change so you can use a payphone that's not there anymore.
Dollar. That's her go-to line for everything.
That's an inside. That's at me and Marrie inside family fun.
y'all are so cute. I just love the bond y'all have.
We laugh. We definitely laugh for sure. We cry, laugh.
It's a blessing and a curse.
And a curse. It's a blessing.
It's a blessing and
yeah,
a curse.
when we get laughing, there's no stopping. There's definitely no stopping when we get laughing.
No matter how serious the situation might be, it's very hard to get us to stop laughing at some point.
Oh yeah. No, so you were like, you would actually be the kids in class. We're like, we need to separate you two.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh yeah. You know, I looked at her and said, I've already parented you. Now I'm your friend. I get to be your friend now. I don't have to be mom now. Yes.
We do get into that kind of like bestie mode. I think it's just something about moms and their daughters, especially firstborns. It's like
100%.
She's my mini me, and even when just hearing things come out of her mouth that are like, you expect to hear kind of the parroting, something you said that they say, and you're like, oh,
yes.
I now, for a little bit, I remember my daughter I'm digressing, but my daughter would say, what was that? What is this?
Oh, that's you.
And all the time. And I was like, where's that coming from? And then I realized we were driving in the car. Every time I'd hit traffic, I say, what is this? But it's even more amazing when you hear them have like independent thoughts that are just beautiful, and you feel like it came from like something that was instilled by what you did. Like, you know, I have a parent teacher conference the other day, and they said that as everybody was asked what they were grateful for, you know, everybody's like, oh, my dolls, my you know, my best friend, and she was like, I'm grateful for the sound of the waves.
What?
I was like, oh my God,
6 years
she's
old.
deeper than me.
Wow.
What to do now? What if she
That's
takes
awesome.
over?
It's cool.
Y'all are inspiring,
You know-
because it makes me think like maybe one day we'll be some kind of amazing duo.
I've always wanted to. It's so funny because she gets to hear this and she just knows how we are. You know, we have our ups with our downs. Like, of course, we're a mom and daughter, we're family, but literally from the day that I could feel her kicking inside of me, I always had this vision of her being literally attached to my right leg and never leaving. And it's like, it's the most amazing feeling. But then you go, okay, but I got to let go one day, but I'm going to take this in, you know? So it feels so good to be able to have that other little piece of you grow up and you become so proud, you know? And so I really am. I really, really am.
Which, in a way, that it makes me, because we are so close, it makes me grateful that I was, you know, raised in the industry, because it taught me how to be independent. Even though we're so attached to the hip, I've had to learn how to be independent at the same time. So I'm not like suckling on my mom my entire life, you know?
No suckle. No
suckling.
Only leg.
Only leg.
Only leg.
But that's another reason why I want to point out, like, I am grateful I was raised in the entertainment industry, because I was taught by, she's going to get all mushy, but I was taught by an independent woman, and I was shown how to be independent and still know how to love in my own weird fatherly way that I do.
Don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back after a few words from our sponsors. Next page is sponsored by Rogers, Patrick, Westbrook, and Brickman Law Firm, located in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. RPWB attorneys are experienced, respected, and tenacious. The common thread of their work is that they help those who have been wronged. They often lead class action lawsuits and multi-district litigations against large corporations. So they're the ones fighting the big guy. And people tend to notice. Their attorneys, including my dad and future guest, are highly regarded by both peers and adversaries, and were voted best law firm in 2021 in U.S. News and World Report. Their proudest moments are when they help ordinary, hardworking Americans who have been harmed through no fault of their own. So if you need attorneys with experience, innovation, and determination, give RPWB Law Firm a call or visit their website at rpwb.com. So I guess for both of you guys, you know, I'm kind of worried you're going to have the same answer now, because you're the same person. But what are y'all's kind of, each of you, what's your go-to songs when you're going through hard times, and why?
Mother, you can go first.
Okay. So when I'm going through stuff, I go straight religious. I love Elevation Worship. I love Maverick City music, and I love Tasha Cobbs. Those are my go-tos. 100%. Like without a doubt. Those you can turn anything on with those artists, and I am just in an instant better mood.
Mm-hmm. And this one for me is super easy. I do it almost 3 times a week. But Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish is my go-to. And of course, as of recent, because she just like came out with it, but yeah, that's my song. That is it. I've been waiting 26 years for that song.
I just think it's so amazing how y'all are, you know, you have such a similar taste, but also so many different, like, you know, places you pull from. And that, do you feel that have you gotten, Chaeza, have you gotten into any of the things that, like, the music that Maddie that like she is into?
You know, the great part of being so different is I'm learning so much. And I truly believe that you always want to learn. And Marrie is an amazing writer. So I'm learning how she's writing, which is helping me write differently. We have such a different writing style, and I love that we're bringing something different to the table, because it's just like writing with one producer or writing with one writer. You only get one way, one sound. But this way, we've got collectively so many different sounds. You know, she's more of the Billie Eilish and Eilish. Sorry, I always say that wrong. Eilish. I'm learning. And so I feel that us being so different is such an asset for Huneyfire. It's such an asset for Huneyfire.
Well, let's talk about Huneyfire. What are y'all's goals as a group, and where do you hope to see yourselves 5, 10, 20 years down the road?
Yeah, 5 years. I mean, I'm hoping that we are living in Nashville. Within 5 years, I hope we're living in Nashville. I hope we've already recorded about 4 or 5 albums.
I've
toured
with
a
ranch by that time, hopefully.
Yeah.
So many horses.
Right. Maybe maybe already toured with Thomas Rhett. Mickey Guyton, you know.
Mitchell Tenpenny, maybe.
Mitchell Tenpenny.
Maybe he's featured on one of our songs, hopefully. Just
Woo!
put it out there.
Preach.
Manifest.
Put it out there, yes. So I'm hoping, 5 years, 10 years. I mean, Jesus, I'm going to be how old? So I'll probably be doing my reunion tour. Maybe
your goodbye tour, your farewell tour.
my first farewell tour of 3.
I was going to say, you're not going to have one farewell. You're like the goat of singing. You're gonna
Let's do like 3 or 4. Right? We're 20 years apart, so 20 years will be fun.
20 years we'll be chilling,
Yeah,
I'll still
singing somewhere.
I'll still songwrite for people. Be the what is it? Wizard of Oz, the wizard behind the curtain. In 20 years.
There you go.
There's a goal, try to retire or halfway retire by 40.
There you go.
I'll be nearly 50 by that time.
Right?
These days, isn't 50 the new 30 or
Yes.
whatever? That's
Yes.
what we tell ourselves. So we
It's the new 27 for my mom.
Yes.
So tell us where and when, like, your new music is dropping and when we get to hear it.
We were just talking about that the other day. We've been in between dates, but we have finally decided that it will be May 20th. I believe that's that.
The day after my birthday.
May 20th, correct? Yes, May 20th. And we're excited about this next release. I don't want to give too much up about it because we really can't yet, just in case it changes. We're known to really swap things at the last minute.
Yep.
Because of where we are or what we're feeling or what we're going through. We like to really derive off of really honest feelings when we do things. So right now it's this one song, but it could change. But we're excited. May 20th. Yes. I'll give you this. It's a remake.
Oh.
I'll give you that.
Oh my God, I'm gagged.
It's a remake. It's a remake. And it's something that we really had to think about. And it means a lot to us to do this song. So,
Oh my God, I'm gagging.
That's all.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, we are too.
We have a tradition on this show. Every time we have a guest on, we have a question of the day, and so I'll start with you, Marrie. What's the most useless talent you have?
Oh, brother. Okay. I can burp on cue, on command.
You can what?
Oh, really?
I can burp on command. Yeah.
All right, let's hear it.
You want to hear it?
Yeah, we got to.
You got to hear it now. Yeah, you got to. Yay! Oh my God, what an amazing,
Come and get
amazing
me, boys.
moment.
I can burp on command.
That's not exactly useless, This is what I think is kind of hard about, a talent isn't
Great
always.
for acting.
Chaeza's dying right now.
Exactly.
It's like, that was it.
And Chaeza, for you, what's the most useless talent you have?
You almost had me getting out the seat and leaving after she burped because you're probably going to ask me to do this, but it is very it is very useless. It's just for the entertainment of my family. But making ugly faces, we in this family are very good at that.
Really? Because you're pretty
You're pretty
attractive
gorgeous.
people.
So
She can do it very well.
All right, you got to give us. You got to give us.
Okay, you gotta get one. I'm sorry, you have
One
to give
ugly
us
face.
one.
One ugly face.
Pretty good.
Okay, this is just the normal.
Come on, Mama, serve it.
Oh gosh! Well, this has got to go on our website. This interview has just for that.
Everything right there.
This has to go on our website, Laura. This
don't
video
worry.
of this interview
It
has
will.
got to go because that face.
And that is, again, not useless. I mean, I feel
We're gonna freeze. You know what? We're gonna freeze frame on that. That's gonna be the picture for the interview.
You guys made a meme. This is gonna be a meme.
Yep.
Lord.
you're right. That was like so good that I don't know. That you could change.
Listen, and I held back a little bit. I held back.
So amazing.
That was holding back. I can't even imagine.
That was kind of holding back.
That
my
was.
goodness.
Her lashes made it look pretty.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like Laura said, we'd love to have you both back on the program at another time.
Oh my God, we would love it.
Hopefully,
It was a lot of fun.
because I think
Yes.
Grammy Awards are definitely in your future, and I'm so excited. Hopefully, next time we'll be interviewing you after your acceptance.
I'm manifesting it right now.
Manifest that. Yes, we're gonna be walking. We're gonna be walking up, getting a Grammy.
Well, this has been an amazing conversation. You guys are
Thank
just,
you.
I mean, such an
Thank you.
inspiration to me. Even like, I can't like,
Ooh.
I feel like I see a little future for like me and Isabel to have. I don't think it's going to be country music or music at all, but I'm not talented in that way. But maybe some kind of like a dancing duo or something. Tell me any
Yes.
backup
I like-
dancers. Maybe
I like to call us-
Isabel and I could get in it.
I like
Yeah,
to call
do it.
us
Come
the
on, let's
real
go.
life Gilmore Girls, if you know what that show is.
You know, I feel so bad because I've never seen Gilmore Girls. She's into Gilmore Girls. I've never seen it. I need to watch it.
Well, I think you could watch the first episode and get a good idea of what the
I'm gonna
rest
do
of
it.
it is. So, you
I'm
know,
gonna do it.
And I've got
That's on my
a lot of
to-do
things
list.
to go check out that y'all have been listening, lots of YouTubes, searching everything. So I appreciate
Cool.
sending me in the right directions for all that.
So everybody, check out Huneyfire. What are your social media handles?
Huneyfire. Everything is Huneyfire on Instagram, TikTok, our website, and we will be launching our merch within the next 2 to 3 months. So
That's
we're excited
great.
about
And
that.
it's Huneyfire with a U. Honey with a U.
Yes,
Honey with
honey
a
with a
U.
U.
Awesome. Awesome.
In one word, too, right?
One word. Yep.
Amazing.
We went a little fancy.
All right,
I love
Laura.
it.
Ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Wow, what'd you think?
I mean, I want to be best friends with them and possibly go on tour with them and just have manifest everything the way that they can.
You know, we are doing this podcast to talk about trauma, but it was so nice to have like an inspirational, motivational moment with them today. Several moments, because she had told me in the pre-interview that she didn't, she doesn't mind Chaeza. I'm talking about Chaeza. That she doesn't have a problem talking about trauma, but she doesn't want to focus so much on the trauma as opposed to how she can learn from what happened, you know, for her as opposed to her. So, I mean, in a way, it's like, it's another way to look at getting through trauma just by doing that.
Like it's going to the next page, but like just daily.
Correct.
You know, that taking the struggles and whatever's thrown at you and turning them around.
Right.
And saying that, you know, not necessarily just silver lining, but like where did, you know, that it can create good stuff.
Right.
Not that it's just like, oh, let's look at the bright side. It's like, no, this, you know, that positivity comes from negativity in some ways. And they have such a good, like, just an ability to turn that around. And I don't know if everybody really has that same natural innate
No, they
ability.
don't. People are the worst.
But yeah, people are the worst.
You know, my
But I do think-
Sandy Duncan said one time at a table I was at in New York, everybody was talking about how you know, annoying people were and whatever, and she goes, you know, people, so overrated. And I've
And
always
that reminds
I've
me
kept
a lot
that.
of Scott Evan Davis's little
Oh yeah, his snarkiness.
his TikTok videos. Yeah, his Prince of Snarkness. No, I just in general, I really like the.
What
and
did you learn from this podcast today?
I felt like I wouldn't say I learned, but I think I mean, obviously I learned a lot about them
Right.
personally and the process of all of this and the fact that, there are people that can grow up in showbiz and maintain normalcy, like being normal people and being humble. But I think the biggest reminder for me, and sometimes I forget, is to have that gratitude and think about the manifestation of stuff.
Absolutely.
That things do come to you. If you put negativity into your head, that's what's going to come out.
It's very powerful.
That was the biggest reminder to me, to say that to myself every day.
I completely agree. And, it's so cool because, they come from such a, like you said, a entertainment family. And like, I mean, Maddie's father, Chaeza's ex-husband, is literally from the band All for One, I swear. And, and then her mother was an Ikette. I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's like musical royalty in a way, but they're just so down to earth. And I think that's just a good reminder to everybody else that, like, you should be grateful whatever position and place you are in life, and that you are in control of what happens, and that you're not like, that things don't happen to you. That they are things that you can take from that and make it a better. Well, there's lessons in everything, I guess, is what we're learning. I'm learning through this journey with you. But we have to ask you the question of the day. And so that is what is your most useless talent?
So I think I might have shown you this before, but and it's a very hard thing to do over necessarily a microphone. But so when we were kids, everybody would always try to do that little like 3-leaf clover thing with their tongues. I'm like, Elsie, you can do it. Yeah, no, I can't do that.
Okay.
So in the process of trying, I discovered that I can do this thing where I can kind of like flip my lips back and forth, and it sounds like a boxing noise. Like it's like... It's so hard to do, like, to describe over, but it's like...
I can see you, though. Okay. Well, you know what, Laura?
That is pretty useless.
That is useless, but it's so wonderful.
So what's yours? Because I would like to move on from mine as fast as possible. Yeah.
So, well, mine is I actually can pick up anything with my toes. So, and
really
like
anything.
Like if the remote is at the end of the bed, I will literally just walk like it's a hand and pick it up with my toe and hand it to myself. I just have, my toes are and I can also move my ears. Right?
Oh my gosh, you can move your ears. Okay, guys, we're going to use this video somehow as well.
Yeah, I can isolate and move my ears. It's very strange. I feel like I feel like a fairy.
And no,
what? Isn't that a coincidence?
Oh, it's just appropriate, actually. Yeah. So, no, but you're also like a little monkey because you can grab everything.
Yeah.
I was going to say that one of my most useless talents is air hockey, but I feel like that also is like,
that's not useless, not in your competition.
Badass, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to Huneyfire for being on the program. I mean, we just had a great interview. Yeah.
Just loved it. Had such a good time. This is just the shit.
Enjoy.
If I can say that.
Have a great day, guys.
You too. Everybody have a good day. Bye.
Bye.